and a student at Community College of Philadelphia, where he is pursuing a degree in cybersecurity. Our presenter is also a member of the leadership team of Fridays at Fettermans. He was arrested with 17 other peacemakers on April 11, 2024, when he participated in a coordinated nonviolent civil disobedience action at the DC and Philly offices, right here, of Senator John Fetterman. Please give a warm welcome to Jayson Massie.
Thank you, Terry and Robin. My name is Jayson Massie. I'm here to talk about how the oppressed here in Philadelphia are similar to the oppressed in Palestine. Two examples come to mind that illustrate how Philadelphia residents have experienced some of the same abuses that Palestinians have suffered over the past 70 years. Example one. It seems like every new Philadelphia mayor goes and quote unquote cleans up Kensington. I thought a lot about this and I realized that this is an inhuman way of thinking. Sure, you can clean up people. You can provide people with showers and clean clothes. But when you're saying you clean up an area and what you're really doing is displacing people, then you're not cleaning up. Right. What you're doing is simply abusing people as a performance to look tough on crime, whatever that means. That must mean that you're treating the dispossessed as vermin. That's what tough on crime means. You punch down on them, and then you come to say to your constituents that since you're taking care of these lowly people, you deserve more power. This is sickening. Yes. Mayor Parker has done this ritualized dance in May. Yes, some people found help, and most people found their broken lives even more in shambles. These people were forced to move away to a different place. Unfortunately, this has not resulted in solving the issues that these folks have. They're still on drugs, they're still unhoused. And at a Narcan training I went to in my neighborhood, in Stenton Park, I found that my zip code is second in drug overdose deaths now. What has happened is that these poor souls in Kensington have been scattered and moved away to other areas with less help available, areas with even fewer resources for them. They're still homeless, they're still on drugs, and their hope is running very low. To me, there's not that much of a difference between the Kensington tent settlement and the Palestinian refugee camp. The Philadelphia mayor and the IDF treat people in these situations in a similar way. What's worse now, per the Philadelphia Inquirer, the police are treating people with Narcan who don't even need it, triggering withdrawal symptoms in unhoused, sleeping people. They're creating a parade of suffering in the name of cleaning up, in the name of being tough on crime. Again, sickening. In speaking cleaning up, the IDF says that they are cleaning up terrorism. Per NPR, nearly 60% of the buildings in Gaza were damaged or destroyed. 87% of the schools in Gaza have been hit or damaged. The UN estimates that as many as 10,000 people may be buried under 37 million metric tons of debris, 800,000 metric tons of asbestos, and 7,500 metric tons of unexploded ordnances. Some cleanup. My second example is older. It is something horrible that happened here, but we don't talk much about it, even though Philadelphia comedian Kevin Hart made a movie about it. I'm going to give you some details about the group, and you guess who I'm talking about. Per PBS, formed in 1972 as a back-to-nature commune, this group was associated with the Black Power movement and mixed the beliefs of Black nationalism, Pan-Africanism, and anarcho-privatism. That's a word. In advocating for a return to a hunter-gatherer society, devoid of modern technology and medicine. They were originally called the Christian Movement for Life. The reporters called this group a cult, and later, terrorists. Living together in the home of West Philadelphia's Palm Village, the group's unorthodox lifestyle led to conflicts with neighbors and clashes with police. In the 1987, Officer Dean Grant was killed in a shootout with school members and the police. Non-members of the group were later convicted for this murder, and eventually the remaining members transitioned to the Cobbs Creek area of West Philadelphia. Tensions were over in 1985 after many complaints about loudspeaker broadcasts and health hazard concerns. The city of Philadelphia used force to evict the group from their row house. How much force? Well, after a day of police tear gas, fire hose, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition in the group's fortified home, city officials ordered military-grade explosives to be dropped on the house from a helicopter, which resulted in the tragic deaths of 11 people, including 5 children, and the destruction of 61 homes. Later, it was discovered that authorities decided to let the fire burn. So sometimes as kids, we sing a very short song. I apologize for the language. The roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let that motherfucker burn. Burn, motherfucker, burn. It's like a nursery rhyme. Just like Ring Around the Rosy is about the Black Plague, this rhyme reminds me of you. That a city ordered the destruction of an entire city block and that we don't talk about it is not just a shame, it's an injustice. It's something we don't talk about, but it's something that we embed in that nursery rhyme. So we keep it like Ring Around the Rosy to remind us. It's something we want to remember, but we don't want to express it out loud. The 61 families have had the unique and unwanted experience of having a government eliminate the living quarters under the guise of doing a necessary and totally justifiable task. I talk sometimes with folks, especially mostly self-and honestly, about policing. And certainly, this is the example of why militarizing policing is a bad idea. But there are other factors at play. Once you can wedge yourself away from other people, you can see fit to destroy them and rationalize it away. You'll hear sometimes, they'll say, those people. You'll hear this sometimes, like if you go along, oh, those people did this, and those people did this. You'll hear it. Once you strip away so much humanity, now you can indulge every dark urge to pretend you needed to do that. We needed to blow up that hospital. We needed to blow up that row home. We had to get those people. Hamas, MOVE, communists, immigrants, whoever. Same fascist formula, just different dispossessed people. The rationale is the same. If that's what you're doing, you're choosing domination over humanity. Empathy has left the building. Those are my 2 examples. You may ask yourself, what is the solution to this? Let's state the problem first. The main issue is a lack of empathy. Empathy is ruled away by greed, misinformation, and envy. Clearly, greed is at play in Palestine. The desire for more land to develop into luxury condos and townhouses fuels a giant military machine that fights the indigenous people. Colonization is not new. Of course, afc.org/divest gives you the rundown of who benefits from the IDF's lust for arms.
Hit by one of those
part of the reason why the police are militarizing is that the government has so many arms. They're just giving away to make way for shiny new arms.
Shame.
The greed then embarked on a campaign to market for new sources of cash. Misinformation is used and designed to stop people from doing the moral thing. The misinformation always casts one group as less than and another group as heroes or patriots who spread the misinformation wider. It makes them feel important to have this information, so that's why they spread it all around. Once that's done, it's easy to continue to spread suffering and profit from it. Then envy kicks in. Once you have a group hit against another group, they will act on this misinformation to oppress the other group and hurt the other group for the greedy. It's a vicious circle. There are two remedies for this. One is having real, vulnerable conversations. Tuck's friend Natalie told a story about a canvass she did. The people she canvassed were Hispanic, and they asked her why she was voting for Kamala Harris. We're voting for Trump, they said. She's told them the story about a family, that her parents moved here, and when her father moved, people from Mexico took care of him. And so when Trump came on the scene and said coarse and horrible things about Mexican people, he was so incensed that he would say those things that he said they were untrue. And the only people who helped him when he moved to America were Mexicans. And he could never support anyone that was against Mexicans. In fact, her father's last words to her was for her to stop Trump. And then shortly afterwards, unfortunately, he went into a coma. So she quit her job and went into organizing and canvassing to talk to people and have these conversations to vote against Trump. So yes, that was a real vulnerable conversation, and it was deep and powerful, which is why I'm repeating it here. I heard it yesterday and it stuck with me. And that's how those conversations work. The other thing that has to happen now, the second remedy is great action. Now, I thought about telling you how to do these big actions, and I realized that I had an issue with taking an action, and I want to talk to you about it. I'm wearing a keffiyeh. I see your keffiyeh is wonderful. You're always so Natalie attired. And I had intellectualized, like, okay, this is something I should do. But I had trouble moving forward. Well, one friend, Stephanie, who used to own Lombard Cafe. Her cafe was broken into, and people put a bunch of Israeli propaganda in it. It was vandalized. And when I talked to her, she said, I don't feel comfortable wearing my keffiyeh outside. I feel like I'm endangering myself if I do so. So I wear the keffiyeh for her, to tell her that it's okay for you to express yourself this way. This is something that culturally you do, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and you should feel emboldened to do so. And so when we talk about big action, sometimes that big action is just for one person. We get overwhelmed with all the horrible things that we hear going on in Gaza and other places around the world. And we can take action just by helping one person. Sometimes we feel like, oh, that's too small. It's not. It's about acting versus not acting. It's about being in action instead of being in inaction. If we can move forward just a little bit, and enough of us move forward just a little bit, we get that ball rolling. We get the Sisyphean, yes, the people power, we get the Sisyphean task done of moving things from injustice to justice. So I've talked to you about that, and sometimes I talk to people about the concept of active hope. The first step of active hope is to get to reality. So I think we've talked about some reality here, but we've also talked about those other steps of hope that we can take find a small action and take it, and then keep putting those small actions together like a snowball. And so we can continue to do what we're doing here. We're taking an action. People see us. Some people don't like it. That's their problem. but we have to confront them in the most loving and caring way possible, so that way they realize that the error of their ways, that the thing they're doing doesn't have any empathy in it. It's hateful and it's evil, and they can throw it off. They can take this obstacle in front of them and move it. So that's what we're doing. When we move forward, we move these obstacles out of other people's way so they can see what we see. They can see the light. When we talk about the light as Quakers, we talk about the light a lot.
Nice.
Things block the light. People put things in the way to block the light. We need to remove those things in the most caring, loving way we can. And we can all do that here. And we've all been doing that here. And I want to thank you for listening to me. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for coming each week to Fridays at Fettermans. It means a lot to me. And I want to thank Robin and Terry for asking me to speak today. Thank you very much.